Hamilton stares at the Montreal circuit layout on his tablet, and for the first time in his legendary career, dread fills his thoughts instead of excitement. No anticipation, no hunger, just the hollow realization that his Ferrari gamble might be the biggest miscalculation of his career. The SF-25 has been described as no upgrade on his recent Mercedes cars, retaining a problematic trait that makes it really difficult to drive. The man who conquered Montreal 7 times before now faces the terrifying prospect of struggling around a circuit where he once reigned supreme, trapped inside a red machine that feels more like a cage than a weapon. But the upcoming weekend represents something far more devastating than mechanical struggles. It will expose the deep fractures running through Ferrari's foundation for the world to see. As Montreal approaches, the weight of what this weekend could reveal suddenly feels unbearable. The dream of red glory is suffocating under the reality of political warfare. And the worst part, Montreal will only be the beginning of Ferrari's civil war. 3 weeks before Montreal, behind the closed doors of Maranello, Hamilton delivered the words that would split Ferrari in two. Hamilton reportedly pushed Ferrari to abandon 2025 development in favor of 2026 focus, essentially declaring their current championship hopes dead. The room fell silent. For months, Hamilton had bitten his tongue as the team chased phantom improvements. But watching others snatch podiums while he battled for scraps had finally pushed him over the edge. His message was brutally clear: stop wasting time on a car that cannot win and start building for the future. But Fred Vasseur saw this as more than technical feedback. He saw it as surrender, and Ferrari does not surrender. Within days, the team made a decision that would poison their relationship with their most expensive signing. They accelerated development plans, rushing upgrades to Montreal that were never meant to be ready. Ferrari rushed through the development of the updated rear suspension they took to Montreal. Originally slated for Silverstone, the message to Hamilton was unmistakable: we will prove you wrong, even if it destroys us. But Hamilton knew something his team refused to accept. They were fighting a war they had already lost, and Montreal would be where that truth would finally be exposed for everyone to see. 9 races into the season, Hamilton's integration with the team and the SF-25 car has been fraught with challenges. With the Britain's win in last March's Chinese Grand Prix sprint event a rare bright spot, while Leclerc thrives with 3 podiums and growing confidence, Hamilton finds himself trapped in a nightmare he cannot escape. The irony cuts deep. He left Mercedes to avoid exactly this situation. Yet here he stands, fighting the same demons in different colors. Hamilton has struggled with a lack of rear-end stability on corner entry, which forces him into an understeering mid-corner phase as he tries to lighten the front end to better sense the car. The man who once made the impossible look effortless now admits he is struggling to feel the car underneath him. But the technical problems are only half the story. Inside Ferrari, a dangerous narrative has taken hold, that Hamilton's complaints are symptoms of weakness rather than warnings of deeper flaws. While Leclerc appears confident and in control both on and off track, comparisons with Hamilton have become unavoidable. Each weekend that passes without Hamilton finding his rhythm only strengthens Leclerc's position as Ferrari's chosen son. And as Montreal approaches, Hamilton faces a terrifying reality. By demanding reality when Ferrari needed hope, Hamilton positioned himself as the enemy of their collective delusion. While Hamilton prepares for what could be his defining weekend, comparisons with Charles Leclerc loom larger than ever. The irony is suffocating. Hamilton came to Ferrari to escape the political games that had defined his final Mercedes years, only to discover that Maranello's politics are far more complex and unforgiving. Montreal will not just test Ferrari's technical solutions. It will reveal the fundamental incompatibility between Hamilton's direct approach and Ferrari's traditional resistance to uncomfortable truths. And as both sides prepare for battle, the dream of redemption threatens to transform into a nightmare of mutual destruction. The data heading into Montreal paints a picture that even Ferrari's most optimistic projections cannot beautify. Hamilton's hopes for adding to his 7 wins, or 6 poles at the Canadian Grand Prix, face their greatest test yet, as another potential setback looms in a season already filled with challenges. For a driver who built his reputation on transforming impossible situations into championship glory, The SF-25 represents his greatest challenge yet, a machine that seems designed to neutralize every advantage that made him legendary. The psychological toll is visible in every radio message, every frustrated gesture, every forced smile during media obligations. Hamilton knows he is fighting against time, against physics, and against a team culture that views his directness as betrayal rather than leadership. But perhaps the most devastating realization is that his Ferrari dream may have come too late. Not because he lacks speed or hunger, but because the team he idolized as a child has become politically incapable of accepting the radical changes necessary for future success. Ferrari's support through Vasseur reflects their long-term belief in the partnership, but the team and its fans will be hoping for visible progress soon. As Montreal looms on the horizon, Hamilton prepares for 18 months of racing for a team caught between past glory and future potential, where every weekend becomes another test of whether legendary talent can overcome institutional inertia. The question is no longer whether Hamilton can adapt to Ferrari. It is whether Ferrari can evolve fast enough to deserve a driver of his caliber. And as Montreal approaches with the championship fight already moving beyond their reach, that answer is about to become increasingly clear and potentially increasingly heartbreaking.